Morocco may have not won the World Cup, but they have won the hearts of millions of football fans across the world. 2 months of scintillating matches at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and the third place match is here upon us. 32 teams, 64 scintillating matches. 2 teams will be in contention for the trophy today. The big question is, who will be crowned the champion of the world? That question we get to answer on NC World Cup Special today. I am Onyinyechi Obaro. And Africa at the center of it all. Morocco takes the chance right now, making history at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. This is the time for Africa. Indeed, Shakira did sing it in 2010, and now we are singing it in reality at the Qatar World Cup. Great news coming from there. I am Onyinyechi Obaro. I've got in the studio with me Fabian Hart of Veteran Sport enthusiast and also a commentator. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Nice being here once again after a long while.
Yes, a very long while. Well, it's indeed good to see that you're in good health, in good stead, and that's what we should be giving glory to God for.
Exactly.
Great one. That is what we are giving glory to God for. We are also giving glory to God for Morocco making the fit there. I will not be joined alone with Fabian. I've got via Zoom joining me all the way from Qatar, covering the World Cup there. He has been there from the start of the World Cup, and now he's here to bring the mood of Qatar to us on the show. I've got Clive Shazi. Hello, Clive. Thank you for joining us.
I should say good morning, but it's already good afternoon here.
Oh, yes. The time difference, I'm very sure.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. I've also got from Tanzania, joining us would be Haji Hinja there. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Tanzania.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, now we've got our set complete. We wait and see who would be joining us in this squad. But we must continue. Football talks must continue. It's been an interesting run at the FIFA World Cup in Qatar and a lot to talk about. Africa has been at the forefront, with Morocco taking us to the semi-final, first semi-final for an African team. And now we have the slots for the next FIFA World Cup increased by the Federation of International Football Association. But before we go into that, let's bring all the talking points we have for the day. Yes, I've got something interesting. One should be Morocco, still in the hearts, winning the hearts of millions of fans. Not only the hearts of Moroccans, but the hearts of Tanzanians, the hearts of Ugandans, the hearts of Nigerians, the hearts of Ghanaians, the hearts of all Africans, and even Arab countries too, Fabian.
And the whole world. And the whole world is interested. You see, it's not only how far they have gone, but how well they've executed their game plan, the technique they brought. And you see, once things like this happen, it gives hope. Now we can believe that subsequent competitions, Africa has a chance not only get to the semi-final, but also may win the World Cup at some time.
But I must tell you that winning the hearts of fans also came with a lot of emotions. Emotions running high over there. Remember when Morocco won Spain, there was riots in Spain. When Morocco won the likes of Portugal, there was riots in Portugal. When Morocco also lost to France, of course, there were new riots in France. And so they say sport is no respecter of religion, but it's not looking that way, even with the winning of the hearts of millions of fans.
Even when Morocco defeated Belgium, there was lots of riots, even in Brussels. You see, that the reality is upon us. Africa is doing well. Of course, these things crop up here and there, emotions running wild and running haywire. But I think the officials, did well containing them. Going forward, there should be an acceptance that an African country might possibly win the World Cup. Okay,
they say, Clive, I want to bring you in here because we know a lot of properties were lost in these riots. But they say that what we are witnessing right now, it's not political, nor is it religion crisis. But what do we call this with all the riots, even after winning the hearts of millions of fans? You should expect that we should have joy. Sport brings unity, sport brings oneness. But what we are seeing is the opposite of it.
Well, in this instance, not when you're coming from Belgium, not when you're coming from Spain, not when you're coming from all those countries, but those European countries and they probably take some of these things so serious. I'm not advocating for fans going on the streets and rioting and stuff like that. But if you're Belgium and you're ranked third in the world coming into the World Cup, you have what you call the golden generation. You're defeated by Morocco. You fail to qualify out of Belgium group into the next stage of the competition. Obviously, it won't augur well with most of the people, especially from Belgium. And I'm saying I'm not advocating for this because for a very long period of time, Belgium had thought that probably they had reached that extent of winning the World Cup. At the last edition in Russia, they went all the way up to the semi-finals. It has not been the case at this time round. If you're Spain and you're a former world champion and you're taking on Morocco, you're expected to probably go out there and get the results you need to go into the next round of the competition. Unfortunately, again, it wasn't the case. If you're Portugal, you have one of the best players in the world, you're expected to go out there and put up a show against a country like Morocco, especially with what they were able to show against Switzerland. It wasn't the case. So again, I'm not advocating for these riots, but our losers out there today. No wonder I was watching Gary Neville on Sky Sports, and he actually thought in his own mind that if England had gone past France, they had a chance over Morocco. Now that is the thinking in most of these other countries that they have played against, that they thought Morocco was always going to be a pushover, they should be able to get the results that they weren't able to get, and probably those results against those teams did go well with the citizens of those countries. The reason why we are able to see what we saw on the streets.
Okay, football does not propagate hatred or hate. It propagates unity, oneness, and that great passion. And we should know that sport is all about winning some and losing some. You win today, you lose tomorrow. When you lose tomorrow, you win today. That is what it is all about. But I'm very sure that the police there have been able to restore calm, and we're so grateful that no loss of life so far in all the riots.
Yeah, but we had a story of in France. Vehicle hitting a 14-year-old. That was sad. No lives have been lost as a result of the open riots. That's good. What I advocate is this: the maturity to handle defeat is very important, because in life you can lose some. Yes. So how you bounce back is very important. So sometimes you lose some, you bounce back. It doesn't mean that you are that bad. Of course, I mean, the Spanish team is very young side. I'm hoping that the next World Cup they should match up. What makes a man is when he falls 100 times and gets back up one time. That one time will be counted for. That is a great one, and that is what, of course, Fabian is saying over here. Let's move on to our next story on the talking point. We've got Hakim Ziyech. Now that lovely kiss on the forehead by Hakim Ziyech right now has now come to the fore. Now, Hakim Ziyech is reported to have not taken any bonus from the national team. Now, it was revealed that he gave out all to charity. Now, this is a heart of gold. This is indeed a heart of gold. I'm going to be reading from here, and it says he reportedly donated $319,000 to charity following his sensational performance at the FIFA World Cup. Now, Ziyech, who first earned his national call-up in 2015, is said to have handed all his bonuses to charities and members of the team's staff. He's starting from home already. Now, it was gathered that the 29-year-old has already donated the money to charity, and he's just done so again and again and again. Now, further reports have it that the former Ajax star, he's set to have a £262,000 from Morocco's run at the World Cup and the semi-final. Now, all that money, he's going to take it down to his homeland. This is a heart of gold. This man said he would not play for the Moroccan national team when Halizodic was the coach of the side, but his return has been a blessing to Morocco at the World Cup. Now, for Haji, let's bring you in right now. This is a heart of gold, and football, this is what football sees for philanthropic players, taking the field, all their acts on the field, away from the field, now having a heart of gold to give back to the community. What do you think, Haji?
On my views, I need to congratulate first Hakim Ziyech for what he has done. Secondly, I think people say charity begins at home. I think it's a good one for Hakim Ziyech, since he has bring about all the money from Qatar and then he has donated it to his home country. I think it's a good one.
Okay, good one.
I think, yeah,
good
it's
one.
a good one.
Good one, good
Yes.
one. But this is what they call your responsibility. Now, Hakim Ziyech
Yes.
now is not playing for the money. It's so clear. It is so clear, Fabian.
So clear. I mean, he has been consistent. And you see, if it's a one-off, we say, okay, probably a one-off. But it's consistent.
From 2015
up until this time.
Do you know how much is that?
I mean, this is really heart of gold. Heart of gold. He even went beyond giving money. At the stadium, there was a young kid that he thought you would see on the stand. He didn't see the young kid. He gave the jersey to somebody he thought was the father. Later, I found out it wasn't the kid.
He went back.
He invited the kids and the parents to the
Camp.
to the camp and gave them this jersey. That's awesome, wonderful. I mean, nice sign bites from African players to Africa. That's nice.
Yes, of course, from African players to Africa. Clive, this is Hakim Ziyech once again. He is doing that which players from Africa will naturally not do. I've not heard of any player who is giving all his bonuses to charity right now, starting from the very first day he donned the jersey for the national team. What do you think about this act of gold?
Well, first of all, like we did say, a candle loses nothing to light another candle. But also sometimes it is not useful to have all that money you get seated in a bank account or somewhere in a safe when there are people out there that need the money. Yes, Hakim Ziyech is in the news today, but I mean, this is something that people like Sadio Mane have been on to for a very long period of time. We are told how he has changed lives of his people back from the village where he has born. When we were growing up, we were told about Nwankwo Kanu, who built a hospital in Nigeria, I think, to treat people with heart problems for free. That on for a very long period of time, especially with African players, especially with American players who go out there, make a lot of money. We also know that this money can make a difference back home where I come from. We've seen all these foundations. I mean, Antonio Rudiger today plays for the German national team, but he has a foundation in Sierra Leone that looks after all these kids who are suffering with disabilities and all that. So what Hakim Ziyech is doing, first of all, is a good thing. The only difference is that his story has found its way into the papers, but there are so many out there who are doing similar kinds of things, and their stories have not found their way into the papers. I mean, they talk about $31-something thousand US. Probably that is money he would make in a week when you look at salaries, bonuses, and endorsement deals and all that. But to him, it is little, but to the people he's giving it back, it actually means a lot. It means the world. It is changing lives. But also the fact that his story has found its way into the papers or into the news, it is motivating and probably a change of mind to others who are in a position like and that to go out of their way and start doing similar things. Because if you have all these players out there having all this money doing that, and they are investigating back in Africa in different formats, charities and stuff like that, then obviously we are going to have a better society for generations to come.
Yes, this is one player paving the way for other players. You should do the same. It is all about charity beginning at home. And for Hakim Ziyech, he says, my charity will start off from the field and I'll take it home. Great one for Hakim Ziyech there. So let's still talk about Moroccan players still performing exploits. I cannot forget, I wanted to, misplace all the kissing and all that. But parents, when they support their kids, we could see it come to full at the FIFA World Cup. It all started from Achraf Hakimi down to Sofiane Boufal. We could see their mothers. But this stood out for all Moroccan fans and all football-loving fans. There is a mural right now in Brazil where we can see the kiss there from Achraf Hakimi's mother to the player for a great win.
You see, the bond between a mother and a child is unquantifiable. Unquantifiable. If this is put on the canvas and sold,
yes,
you make a lot of money.
The most expensive artwork.
I mean, nice picture, the inspiration that it elicits, and what it brings. In fact, I'm getting emotional because my mom is not alive now. I mean, this
I'm
is
so
wonderful.
sorry about that.
Yeah, wonderful.
But that's the joy of having the mother around.
Wonderful.
So Ashraf Hakimi should be very grateful right now. But there is a revelation from that artwork. It says the artist, that's the lady who painted that figure of the mother and the son in black and white, and then highlighted the colors of the Moroccan kids, accompanied with some words that says migrant mothers. Remember that Ashraf Hakimi was not born in Morocco.
Yeah.
He was born in Spain. Now, with that, she has that migrant mothers there. That generated a lot of hate comment on social media now regarding Hakimi not having to have grown up in Morocco. Now, due to this episode, do you think there is a lot to be done when it comes to the orientation? Let's get orientated. Now, with the fact that he did not grow up in Morocco does not mean he's not Moroccan.
I mean, everybody comes from somewhere. So having been born in Spain, it doesn't mean he's a Moroccan. I mean, he's a Moroccan. I mean, we've been traveling across the coast of Africa and the entire world long before we were born.
Yes.
So it's not new that an African was born
But for the fact that he even chose to play for Morocco says a lot.
Says a lot, and goes to show that he has a long tie with his roots.
Yes.
And that is evident in the way he has performed on the pitch. Every time he comes, he gives 100% of his.
Now, let's have Haji tell us right now, what do you think about that revelation from the artist who made this mural on the wall of Ashraf Hakimi and his mom? She said she's getting hate comments after she made that quote of migrant mother, the joy of a migrant mother on the mural. What do you think about this comment? Do you think there is more to be done about racism, a little bit of stereotyping, a little bit of oneness in football? Let's have all these side talks, all these different opinions that do not take football to the top. Let's have them away. What do you think, Haji?
What I think, in a positive manner, we can see that Ashraf Hakimi taking blessings from her mother. I think that one, first of all, it's a good one, since blessings it's like it starts at home. Yeah, for sure. Then the one who painted the paint in Brazil, I think she should be given a positive quotes and not negative quotes.
But she's getting negative quotes now. A lot say that.
I can see, we are Africans. We are born in Africa, and those are Europeans. And in fact, Brazil is a South American country. You understand? Our origins differ, our races differ, our mentalities differ. In Africa, a mother is like the second God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope you understand that.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
like the second God. Like for me, I love my mother. And I pray for her always, That's why you can see the joy of a mother taking Ashraf Hakimi, kissing him, it's the joy, it's a blessing. For me, I give it a 100 count to Ashraf Hakimi for that, and the mother. And as we know that Ashraf Hakimi was born in Spain, then he decided to play in a Moroccan squad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that it's part of patriotism to my side.
Yes, Haji saying over there, it's all patriotism. That is why Ashraf Hakimi can leave Spain, Madrid, where he was born, and then play for the Atlas Lions. And we can see all the dividend of representing his mother's side, his father's side. Clive, I saw a video online. We could see that his mother is there supporting her son, but the father is far, far in Casablanca there, watching his boy do wonders for the Atlas Lions. Now, I'm going to bring this to the fore that I know how you love your mom. Yes, Clive, I'm talking to you right now because I know I saw the birthday message on social media from your mom and all, and I know what it is to say, I want my mom around more than even my dad. We can see all that, the dividend in Qatar. Okay, Clive, you can unmute your mic.
It is not actually muted up. What I was saying, usually what FIFA does, they have designated sitting areas for all these teams that are playing. directly behind their benches. So teams are allowed, or players and officials of these teams are allowed to invite different people to come and watch their games, to come and cheer them strategically behind their benches. Now, while others go for their wives, while others go for their friends and stuff like that, Moroccan players, from their head coach, they have actually been inviting their mothers. I don't know any other team that has invited mothers more than the Moroccans. Cristiano Ronaldo loves his mother very much, that we've seen more of his wife and his children at the World Cup, and we've not seen his mother somewhere. So that has been the Moroccan story. They have invited their mothers, and every time the game has ended, you'll see some Moroccan player, I forget the name, who was on the field of play dancing with his mother when they defeated the Portugal to 45 for the semi-final of the competition. So that has been the other story of the Moroccans. And Hakim's Achraf Hakim's image that has gone viral. That is just one of the several images, or lovely images, the Moroccans have been able to take with their mothers right here in Qatar. There are so many fascinating stories around that image, but also so many fascinating stories. Because, for instance, their head coach actually convinced his mother to come to Qatar for the World Cup. This is a mother who never watched him play. This is a mother who never wanted to come for his games when he's coaching, because she just couldn't handle the emotions.
Let me butt in here. I'm very sorry. Do you think the presence of these mothers was a big motivating factor to how Morocco has gone so far in this World Cup? Because I could see Sofiane Boufal, I could see Amrabat's brother there, I could see Achraf Hakimi's mom over there. Do you think this is a motivating factor that has taken Morocco to the top here?
It is something that you might not. It is something that you might not know, but it is something that my brother in Studian. It's true. We all grew up as boys and doing sports, and we all know how the presence of a lady or a girl you are trying to pursue motivated you to go out there and give your best on the field of play. Now imagine it is your mother out there. Remember, you've invited your mother to come and be part of this experience. Definitely you're going to go out there and give whatever you want and throw your body on the line because you want to impress your mother. You invited them because you wanted them to see something special in you. That is motivation enough for some of these players, if not all of them, to go out there and die for their country. And I wouldn't be shocked if that could have been one of the reasons or factors they were able to go out there and give their best, because they had their mothers there. Haji called them our athlete gods. They had their second athlete, our athlete gods down there, and they just had this inner feeling, urge, motivation to just go out there and die a little for their country.
Okay, they say that the love of the mother can take you all the way, and that is what we're saying for the Moroccan national team. They had their mothers there to support them. But let me quickly show you this, the irony of race in football. A picture came up online, and that picture showed the Moroccan national team and of course, the Le Bleu, that's the French national team. Now, we could see that the Moroccan national team had more white players. 100% of your players, white players. But you can see that the European team there, that is of course the Le Bleu, had black players. Now the irony of race in football. Now reading from that, I would say that it says, friends, that the white team are from Africa. How will you tell your kids that this white team are from Africa and that has got black players from Europe? How do you tell your friends?
No, the thing is this, I will tell them the beginning of the story, which is the fact that the French policy of assimilation actually allowed blacks to migrate to France. And that's the beginning of the story. So 1986, when I watched the World Cup for the first time and I saw Jean Tigana, a black man in a white man's team, I was wondering, how? In the world. And I got to know it's a migration policy that has been in place for over the years. So, and they have a system that allows them to come through. Fantastic. Yes, we can say, you can wonder, but then that system is, I commend the system, allows them to come through. The best talents complete to any level of the World Cup, as you can see right now, and I'm very impressed.
And now they are penetrating into the national teams of each country. But I'm still asking this question: how will I tell my kid that set of white players are from Africa, and the Le Bleu our European team. How do I make this, believable?
What I will tell them is this. I mean, the color of your skin doesn't matter.
Thank you. That's what I want to hear. Let's hear from Clive right now. Clive, what do you say about this picture that is making the rounds online?
We've been seeing these pictures from the time France won their first World Cup in 1998. If not 70 or 80% of the players who are part of that team were coming from Africa. And that has been the story of this football. When you go to rugby and all these other disciplines, they have a host of Africans that are playing for them. But of course, like the brother in studio said, I just need to tell them that the color of your skin doesn't matter. You can just go out there and be what you want to be. And that is what French, that is what France and all these other European countries are doing. Though it is not the best thing out there, because I feel this exploitation, or it is exploitation on us as a continent. Because if all these players went out there and played for their respective countries, then Africa would be a force to reckon with. But I mean, there are so many things that we are not doing right as a continent, and that explains the reason why you have all these players deciding to go and play for all these European countries. We are talking about the Moroccans, some of them born in Europe, and that today they have the urge or the yearn to play for their country. This is because the Moroccan FA and government have created an environment that allows these players to come and represent the Atlas Lions. 6 or 7 or even 8 years ago, most of these Moroccan players who were born in Europe play for the national team, just like all these other West African players who are littered all over Europe. The reasons they don't want to play for the national team is because the national team has not given them reason to come and represent their country. And one of those reasons is being organized, is being professional, and doing things the right way. Now, Morocco are doing exactly that, and that explains why all these other players now want to come and represent Morocco at the big stage.
Okay, well, wait, they want to represent Morocco, but I'm still racking my head to really understand that. How can I tell my kid that? Well, yes, they say that. You'd say the color of your skin
doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter. It is in the head, and you can see kids will always hug and love and talk to anybody. No matter the color. It's if you infuse superiority and if you infuse better me into them, racism into them, and that's when they begin to, segregate and begin to stereotype people. So that is what we preach, and that is what football is preaching. The color of your skin doesn't really matter. Now let's move away from that. Take you to the man who has been there, who has done that at the center of the field. He is a South African referee. He has gone all the way for the FIFA World Cup, to the CAF Confederation Cup, to the CAF Champions League, to the South African PSL. And now he's saying goodbye to football. I'm not going to be at the center anymore. But this time, he's going home big, as they say. Now, looking at that, the South African referee, he has given 14 years. Victor Gomez has given 14 years of service to the game and has an impeccable record of honesty. Of course, remember that one time he turned out £20,000 from PSL to match fix. He turned that money down. The South African referee, Victor Gomez, earned 1.43 million rands for officiating at the FIFA World Cup, but now he has to go home. Now, a lot of people are saying the 4 matches, that's the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and the finals. Now, what is wrong with FIFA? Why did FIFA not infuse any African referee there? All the African referees we had seen had to, officiate the group stages and also the round of 16. I cannot forget the lady who made history at the African Cup of Nations, Halima Mukosanga, was dropped down to the 4th referee, and we only had Stephanie Frappart having to officiate at the center when all women officiated at the FIFA World Cup.
You see, my take is this. There is sports. There is the politics of sports.
Okay.
So I don't always want to dabble into the politics of sports, which is real. It happens. I celebrate Gomez. He has gone very far. One thing that I take from him is the fact that he has inspired a lot of African referees. He has done so well. So he has opened the door for more referees to come to the ranks and do better than he had done. Right now, what I think we should be doing in Africa is I mean, let the game let the game play itself. Let it be organic. Let the game flow. Let the referees do their stuff and grow to the ranks and become better referees. So that
but Fabian, they're doing their stuff. They're growing through the ranks, but they're not given the big fish. And that is where the bone of contention, that's where it lays. They're not given the big fish. African referees here at the FIFA World Cup were given only the group stages and the round of 16. But we're taken out, sidelined away from the finals and the third place.
We have to play the politics. I'm telling you the truth. If we must go beyond that level, CAF must come to play politics.
Okay, let's hear Haji. Haji, do you think there is a politics to be played right here in the FIFA World Cup? Maybe Confederation of African Football should play politics so that we have referees from Africa have to officiate the finals and the third place of a FIFA World Cup. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. You know, back in my country, you know, there is this thing called, our association is called the TFF, Tanzanian Football Federation.
Okay.
You understand? I think there are some politics. The government, I think, should enforce we should have some enforcement on football, what I think, so as we can get referees that can have higher ranks. So as when it comes to choices of referees, it cannot be an option taking one referee from South Africa. You know, as you can see, Africa, it's a big country. You know, getting one referee from one country, and it's not an, I can say, how do I put it? It's not very appropriate, I can say, no. But for Victor Miguel Gomez, I think I should give him 100 out of 100.
Hey, Clive, are you seeing any foul play there that we're not seeing African referees at the third place, the finals of the FIFA World Cup?
Like the brother in studio said, Fabian, you have sports politics at play here, but also you have over 100 plus amateur officials who are the one final of every 4 years. People are saying that because you have a European country and a South American country, maybe it should have been an African referee to officiate that. But we should also remember that these referees are actually ranked. Right, these referees are ranked. These referees assignment.
Oh, we're having network glitch there. Clive, can you hear me?
Is it better now? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I was saying most of these match officials earn points, and most of these assignments or appointments are given depending on your rank as a match official. Victor Gomez is the #1 referee in Africa right now. He has officiated the final of the Champions League. He has officiated the final of the Africa Cup of Nations. He has been at all these tournaments. But the big question is, where does he rank in the world? Does his ranking favor him to probably go out there and be part of those bigger comments like the semi-finals and the semi-finals? I agree with you on the issue of Salima, making her a fourth official in a match that was officiated by a man. When the following day you have an all-ladies game out there, I thought that she should have been an official in that game if she wasn't going to officiate, where you just have an all-ladies team out there officiating matches. So I thought it wasn't fair on her side.
Yes,
but also,
it wasn't.
We need to be honest to ourselves as Africans. The truth of the matter is, good enough. That is the factor, or that is a fact that we always want to know. I'll give you an example. There is an assistant referee in Uganda called Dick Okello. No, it's called Dick Okello Lee. No, it's called Dick Okello. Dick Okello, 2 or 3 years ago, free on the continent.
Okay.
He officiated the Champions League final that involved the Kaiser Chiefs and I think Al Ahly. He officiated all these competitions. He was shortlisted to go and officiate the Arab Cup last year in Qatar. One of the requirements at the time was to have been vaccinated on COVID-19. Dick Okello refused to be vaccinated. He didn't travel to Qatar. This is the #1 assistant referee on the continent. As we speak today, Dick Okello has been scrapped off the list
Wow.
of FIFA referees in Uganda. Why? Because he refused to be vaccinated on COVID-19. But because he's the #1 assistant referee on the continent, Dick Okello was assured of going to the World Cup in Qatar. He didn't go to the World Cup in Qatar. Why? Because he refused to be vaccinated. So we also have our own issues as Africans, but also we need to face some facts here. They are not really good enough to handle some of these big games on the continent. You saw what the country did in that Africa Cup of Nations match that involved Tunisia and some other team. And for me, I thought he was lucky to be taken to Qatar. Just imagine if he was given to handle a game of the magnitude of a quarter-final, semi-final, or final. So our match officials have to improve themselves in so many areas.
Okay, they have a lot to do on the African scene when it comes to officiating football. But for one man who has been there and done that, Victor Gomez, he indeed is flying high, going back to South Africa with his head held high. All right, we had a little prediction for our fans who would follow News Central TV on all social media platforms. And now we have our winners. Of course, congratulations to the 4 winners from Facebook, from Twitter. Of course, we've got the special one, Ugo Chukwu here, one of us on News Central. He predicted so well, and now he's one of our winners. We've got Ajide Wasiu also. Congratulations to Ajide Wasiu. Not forgetting one, John Docker. Yes, Kaka John Docker from Port Harcourt. He's one of our fans from Port Harcourt, and he's also a winner. Then we've got Matthew Taiwo, a winner from Twitter. Congratulations to these 4 who are the octopuses when it comes to football.
I hope you're giving them some items.
That's why you would have predicted. All right, we go on a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the teams that would take the 3rd place and the 4th place at the FIFA World Cup. But I must remind you, an African team is there. This and many more when we come back. NC World Cup Special continues. Singing the praises in Qatar. Of course, Morocco's time is here, but we have to know who's going to pick the 3rd and 4th place position at the FIFA World Cup. It is a battle between Sofiane Amrabat and Luka Modric, the midfield maestro. Who's going to be leading the midfield? Who's going to be those who win the game from the middle? Is it going to go in favor of the Moroccans? Sofiane Amrabat, a revelation we saw in Qatar, doing so well. He plies his trade for Fiorentina, but right now he's doing so well for the Atlas Lions. It's great to see that this battle continues with the midfield great Luka Modric and Sofiane Amrabat. But this game, we're going to be previewing it right now in the studio. I've got with me joining us right now. Of course, they say man proposes, but Lagos traffic will dispose for you and disposing you away from the roads down to the studio. Jerry Adere, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. We've been talking a lot, and we've got Clive still standing by all the way from Doha, Qatar. But now we are ready to preview this 2nd place match between Morocco and Croatia. All right, let's look at the odds. But we'll start off from the news that came out from Qatar that says the match will be officiated by Qatari referees. Now, a lot are so scared. Are we going to be seeing an Arab connection here? Because when Portugal played Morocco, they said, Argentine referee, just give the trophy already to Argentina. But now we are hearing that Qatari referees will be in charge of this game. Jerry, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I'll say blood is thicker than water.
Okay, now.
When Morocco were breaking the records, a lot of Africans were identifying with them. A lot of Arab nations were also identifying with them. And when everything would work out fine, the 3rd place match has happened. It's about to happen.
About to happen.
And then we found out that the referees are going to be Qatari. So I think whatever needs to be done, whatever magic needs to be done, if Morocco are compact as we know them to be, they have a higher chance.
Okay.
With the support of the Qataris, of course. Whether we like it or not, they somehow...
Jerry, I'm beginning to say there will be match fixing here, but I'm not in support of this. I'm not in support of this, but we must know that.
It's a FIFA match.
Okay.
We get it.
Okay.
They are going to be as neutral as possible. But, there are some soft calls that might come in favor of Moroccans, whether we like it or not. Look at the match between... I don't want the Ronaldo fan to come out. I'm not going to talk about that.
You better bring it out. But the match between who?
That's between Portugal and...
You need to come out.
It has come out. You pulled it out.
All right, Portugal and who?
Yeah, so what I think is going to happen in today's match is they're going to be as neutral as possible. Moroccans are going to defend as they defend.
Okay.
Croatians are going to play their match. But one thing I'm just going to tell Morocco is, don't you get dragged to the PK corner. Once Croatia drags you to that end, it's a road of no return. So do whatever you need to do within 90 minutes.
Okay, Fabian.
I think away from the officials, you must also do the job on the pitch. If you look at the two teams, the Croatians, they're compact, the way they move, their back line is well set up, and they have the middle of the park, Modric and stuff, Kovacic doing so well. But their finishing in the final third, the last game, was very poor. Now Morocco has an edge, compact team as well, from back to forward. The recovery rate is very high. Now if they can pressure Croatia earlier on, it's possible that Morocco, the African hopes, can get the result from the first half and keep it until the end of the game. I see Morocco.
Okay, let's see stats about the possession during qualification down to the finals of the FIFA World Cup. Now, that stats shows that every single team that held the ball lost the game. Now, Croatia played against Brazil and they had 51% of ball possession. Netherlands played against Argentina. They had 52% of ball possession. While Portugal played against Morocco, they had 73% of ball possession. England played against France. They had 57% of ball possession and they were booted out. Now, let's run to the semi-finals. Croatia played against Argentina. Of course, they had 61% of ball possession. And Morocco in the game on that semi-final there, they had 61%. Hold the ball more and lose the game.
The point is this: when you hold the ball more, you are in your own half, defending deep. So the opponent come at you. If the opponent comes and plays high, it means that the possibility of making a mistake at the back is very high.
But let me ask Clive this, because I remember that this is a replay of what happened in the group stage. Croatia against Morocco. These two teams they went all goalless in that game, that first game in the group stage. And remember that Morocco has got the best midfielder in town right now, new revelation, Sofiane Amrabat. Not forgetting the legend himself, who has been there and done that in the midfield. So you know Luka Modric is there too. And I must also remind you, Clive, that Luka Modric, this seemed to be his last World Cup for Croatia, or maybe his last game for Croatia. He would want to, they say, die dear. He would want to die dear. What do you think, Clive?
By the way, his last World Cup. Now, whether this is his last game, we'll probably wait for the announcement, but at least he has made it official after 7 years that this is his World Cup. About the game, first of all, the game in the group stages, remember it was the opening game for both sides. And if you follow that trend of the games of the group stages of any competition, they always tend to be that cagey, teams always tend to be cautious and all that. Teams usually open up in the second and third games and all that, but also not taking anything away from both teams. I thought on that day they were very has been the story of Morocco throughout the competition. No wonder that they dropped at that group, that had Croatia, that had also Belgium, and they didn't concede a goal scored by an opposing player until the semi-finals against France. So that is how disciplined or organized that they have been defensively. But that has also been the story of Croatia. Much as we want to give them the credit, their goalkeeper has been head and shoulders above anyone in the World Cup today, but also in that Moroccan team in particular. You look at Luka Modric, 37 at 25-year-old. This guy, Croatia loses his possession and he tracks back up to the 18-yard box and make sure that he helps his team to defend and win that possession again. And when they are attacking, when they get into the final fencing, pattern and all that. So it is a game that you feel, first of all, both teams are going to approach with no pressure. Yes, there is a medal at stake and all that. Morocco would want to be that African team to win a bronze medal at the World Cup. But Croatia has been in this position before. They won it in 1998. They were silver medalists 4 years ago in Russia. You could say that they have entirely seen it all. But of course, at the end of the day, you would want to get that FIFA money because there is money at stake. And you would want to have that medal around the neck. And look at what they would want to end his career on the high. About Qatari referees officiating this match, it goes back to what Fabian said. Sports politics. Now, this is FIFA rewarding Qatar for probably a well-organized World Cup and all that. Because in all honesty, there is no way Qatari referees were even fit or qualified enough to officiate again in the quarterfinals of this.
Clive, a comment from here says, the game can never be
100% balance.
100% balance. But let me give a little bit of camp updates right now. It is confirmed that Josip Juranovic will not play in the third place match. He's injured and he's out. For Morocco, we've got Yanim Sais. He's also out, and Mazauri is also out due to injury. So Wahid Regragui has got some players at his stead right now that would execute this game. And remember, it is both sides having to defend more. Time not that friend. Let's see you predict the game.
Well, I see 2-1 in favor of Morocco.
2-1 in favor of Morocco.
90
Don't you think this game will get to penalties?
I really want it to get to penalty, because if they get to penalty, it's Croatia's bronze.
Okay, Fabian.
1-0 Morocco.
1-0. Playing safe.
1-0 Morocco.
Playing safe.
All right, let's hear from Clive. Clive, your prediction, please.
I'm going for Moroccan win, 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
You went all out.
2-0. You're with Jerry on this.
I said 2-1 though.
All right. I'll wait and see. But if these predictions don't come to fruition, Clive, I'm hoping that you've packed your bags already. Isn't it?
I'm here until Wednesday, so I'll come.
We're going to rush.
We are coming for you because you better pack your bags because we are coming from you. Jerry, I know where you are. I can get to reach you. But for Fabian, you say 1-0. We're waiting for that.
Safe, yeah?
So both sides want to finish third place, but let me tell you, at the end of hostilities, one team will go third and the other must go fourth. This is why we call it a wrap on the show. Thank you so much, Jerry Adeyeri. Okay, Lagos having to, have pity on you, but fine, you're here, and I'm so glad you're here. Fabian, all the way from the start down to the finish. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And Clive, remember I did tell you, pack your bags, pack your bags. Thank you so much. We wait and see if your prediction will come to fruition.
Thanks for having me.
All right, this is where we call it a wrap on the show. Remember that this is the penultimate show down to the finals for tomorrow. But please do not miss tomorrow. We've got a lot in stock for you on our NC World Cup special. I am Onyechi Obaro. I leave you with what you missed on social media.
مغرب العروبة بين الأمم يسعد أشرف جول 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 الله يا أسود 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 برافو